have pretty much resigned myself to give up on exploring the cone sector. But what I have decided to do is to explore several reported Thargoid structures in this system that we're in. So I'm just going to use my discovery scanner to get some system data. Gnosis damaged. You can see some corrosive damage. And when I came out, there were some Thargoid scouts. Not seeing. We got one there. So anyway, we have given up on the cone sector. We're going to do some exploring in this system. We'll look at some barnacle sites and Thargoid Mega Structures. So enjoy the show.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
One more thing, in case you're wondering, I'm using a Anaconda. That is it's a hybrid rather for fighting and exploration. I do have Thargoid weapons in this system aboard the Gnosis. I had them shipped here, the outfitting. But this is a pretty good ship I've got. I don't have my Thargoid fighting loadout aboard right now because at this time there are just scouts. There were some Hydras and other tougher Thargoids, but right now in this system we're just dealing with scouts, so no big deal. Can take scouts out without Thargoid fighting weapons, and like I said, just going to do some exploring today and then go back to the bubble. A lot of people are upset at the fact that this expedition to the cone sector didn't take place, but I don't have any hope that it will, or that Frontier is going to change their mind on that. Apparently the cone sector is just off limits. So anyways, let's check out some barnacles and Thargoid sites.
Fire destroys Supertech facility. A manufacturing complex owned by computer company Supertech has been destroyed by fire. All on-site personnel managed to escape the blaze without injury. Emergency crews were soon in attendance, but were unable to prevent the fire from swiftly consuming the facility. Supertech CEO Scorpio Devoro made this statement. I regret to announce that the fire has ruined our main production complex. Dozens of prototype torque units were also irreparably damaged. This is a severe setback in the development of our new design. Investigators have been unable to pinpoint the cause of the blaze, or to explain why the fire suppression system in our state-of-the-art complex malfunctions so completely, along with the security cameras, internal alarms and thermal sensors. Maddox Hurd, head of rival company Herculean Machines, commented, "I'm glad to hear that everyone made it out okay. But I have to say, if Supertech's facilities are that poorly designed, I'd hate to imagine what their products are like. Both companies are due to unveil new personal computing devices at the Rackham Ultratech Expo in October, although it is now unclear if Supertech will take part in the trade show. Thargoid sympathizer arrests increase. The Federal Intelligence Agency has increased arrests of potential Thargoid sympathizers as it continues to investigate the Thargoid cult. Independent reporter Gethin Okonkwo, who first raised awareness of doomsayer cults in the core systems, has been reported missing and is assumed to have been arrested. Many others who were researching the Thargoid sect remain in custody, including leading exotheologian Dr. Alfred Ulyanov. The FIA has also shut down the Galactic Interfaith Commune and apprehended its spokesperson, Dr. Jamie Le Griffin. Several similar organizations, including the Spiritual Freedom Movement, have been closed down. Independent observers have confirmed that the FIA has discovered further empty Thargoid hive chapels. The whereabouts of hundreds of adherents remains unknown. In an effort to uncover clues, arrests of associates and family members of Thargoid worshippers has intensified. Senior Agent Micah Whitefield gave a brief statement. We will
Orbital flight engaged.
leave no stone unturned in our mission to identify Thargoid influences. The disappearance of Thargoid chapters is clearly a coordinated operation of either human or alien design. We warn anyone who may be harboring cult members that they are impeding a federal investigation, and will face criminal charges. Thargoid campaign concludes. LHS 2541 Alliance Combined has announced that its request for Thargoid materials for the Thargoids
Orbital flight engaged.
has been enthusiastically received by the galactic community. Hundreds of pilots supported the campaign by delivering commodities to Wheelock Ring in the Zavicha system, and by eliminating agitators in Zavicha, thereby ensuring the safety of traders contributing to the initiative. Chancellor Regan
Orbital flight engaged.
Anna, speaking on behalf of LHS 2541 Alliance Combined, released the following statement. We would like to thank those pilots who delivered Thargoid materials, thus contributing to the furtherance of religious freedom throughout the galaxy. At this point we would also like to address rumors that the Thargoid sect is experimenting on willing test subjects in the hopes of ascending to a higher form of life. We assert, in the strongest of terms, that this is baseless gossip. Pilots
Orbital flight engaged.
who contributed to the initiative can now collect their rewards from Wheelock Ring, in the Zavicha system. Alliance Presidential Gala. The Alioth Independence has announced plans to host a gala event in the Alioth system, to officially begin
Orbital flight engaged.
the Alliance presidential election. The event will give the as yet unannounced presidential candidates an opportunity to meet distinguished figures from among the upper echelons of Alliance society. Jurian Ballas, chairman of Alioth Independence, issued the following statement. Everyone's heard of President Gibson Kincaid, but the other candidates may not be so well known. This will be their chance to shine. As well as hosting key members of the Alliance Assembly, we can also confirm that Prime Minister Redmond Mahone and 3 members of the Council of
Orbital flight engaged.
Admirals will be in attendance. To make this a truly spectacular event, the Alioth Independents have placed an open order for Esuseku caviar, ceremonial Hiki tea and live Hikate sea worms, promising to reward pilots who deliver these commodities to Smith Landing, in the Amber system. The organization has also placed a kill order on all ships on its wanted list, to ensure that those contributing material to the campaign can do so safely. The campaign begins on the 6th of September 3304 and will run for 1 week. If the final target is met earlier than planned, the campaign will end immediately. Assembly to vote on proposed changes. The Alliance Assembly has agreed to hold an internal vote on President Gibson Kincaid's proposed changes to the Constitution. Kincaid has lobbied for the role of President to be invested with executive powers, and for each presidential term to last 6 years. Prime Minister Redmond Mahone told the media. After much discussion, the Assembly has agreed to vote on President Kincaid's proposals in mid-October, at the same time as the presidential election. We will announce any amendments to the Constitution shortly afterwards. Milo Vesper, editor of the Alliance Tribune, discussed this development. President Kincaid's proposals are seen by some as a long overdue restructure of the political system. Compared to the current bureaucratic procedure, Having a single person make all executive decisions has an obvious appeal. But some in the Assembly are concerned that such changes could imbue the President with Emperor-like levels of authority. Prime Minister Mahone is playing down such fears, but the words constitutional crisis have already been heard in Parliament. Whatever happens, this could be the most significant election in the Alliance's history. Gnosis stranded. A scientific research vessel has been left stranded following a Thargoid attack. The Gnosis, flagship of the Cannon Interstellar Research Group, recently made a hyperspace jump towards the Cone Sector, FNJ, B90 system. A short time later, the following message was received from Captain Matthias Leander of the Gnosis command crew. We were a short way into our journey when the Gnosis was hyperdicted by a group of Thargoid vessels. The wrench back into real space caused severe internal damage to multiple systems, including the frame shift drive. There's no doubt that we would have been destroyed if not for some of the commanders traveling with us. They lured the Thargoids away while ejecting meta-alloys from their holds. The aliens were more interested in scooping up the meta-alloys than attacking us. The commanders later reported that the Thargoid vessels were the recently identified Hydra interceptors. The Gnosis is currently adrift close to the 8th planet of the UDOT's STI, D96 system. We have begun essential repairs, but there is a risk that the Thargoids may return before we can escape the system. Scandal hits Rochester family. The famous actor Thomas Turai, husband of Jupiter Rochester, has been revealed to be having an extramarital affair with an Olympian athlete. An article in the Mars Tribune stated, "For the last 3 years, Thomas Turai has conducted a secret relationship with Reagan Lord, who has won several Olympic gold medals for the Altair system. Their romantic liaison took place without the knowledge of Turai's husband, Jupiter Rochester, or their 2 children. There has been no response from Jupiter Rochester. The Rochester family is currently in a media lockdown following the cancelled wedding of Ambassador Jordan Rochester and Princess Aisling Duval. But Thomas Turai and August Lord, husband of Reagan Lord, have both announced their intention to sue the Mars Tribune for defamation. The publication's owner, billionaire Kingsley Cordova, has confirmed that he will personally cover all legal costs in contesting both civil actions. Lana Sigrid, chief editor of the Mars Tribune, published this comment: "We have an obligation to publish the truth wherever we find it. The detailed evidence we've obtained about Thomas Turai's behavior is beyond dispute. We employ the finest journalists in the Federation, and our soaring subscription figures prove we've earned the public's trust." Starport status update. This report presents the latest data on starports experiencing technical issues as a result of Thargoid sensor-related interference. The following starports are currently closed: Abeti Platform, Ross 1051, George Lucas, Listi, Napier Station, HIP 94863, Shaviano Dock, Habits, Sinisalo Holdings, HIP 19305, Thirsk Enterprise, Monted. Meanwhile, the following starports are on the brink of closure: Alexandria Dock, Shinab, Alexeyev Hub, HIP 36485, Extra Refinery, Azrael, Matheson Prospect, 45 Tori, Rondell Bear Lab, HIP 88595, Wheelock Ring, Zavisha. Week in Review. Here are this week's major stories. Independent pilots have engaged a previously unseen type of Thargoid vessel in both the Pleiades Nebula and the core systems. Admiral Aidan Tanner, Aegis's chief military liaison, confirmed that the new ship, classified as the Hydra, is a variant of the Thargoid Interceptor. Federal President Zachary Hudson has announced that Aegis Corps is to relocate from Socho to the federal home system of Seoul. The move is a response to the criminal occupation of the Socho system, which led to the temporary immobilization of Aegis's Eagle Eye network, a system of orbital installations designed to determine potential Thargoid attack sites. Engineer Ramtau has detected unusual energy signatures in the NGC 2451 A sector, the IC 2391 sector and the Sinuefi NH region. While the precise nature of the signals is unclear, Ramtar has encouraged independent pilots to investigate. In other news, the Colonia Council has announced that 4 engineers have established bases in the Colonia region to provide services to independent pilots. According to a statement, the Council consulted with engineers in the core systems to identify individuals who could offer similar services in Colonia. The date of Princess Aisling Duval's wedding to Federal Ambassador Jordan Rochester has passed without comment from either party. While Emperor Arissa and President Hudson have thought to be pleased with the cancellation of the wedding, the silence from Aisling Duval and Jordan Rochester leaves questions about the legitimacy of their relationship unanswered. Maddox Hurd, owner of Herculean Machines, has publicly dismissed the efforts of rival company Supertech. Mr. Hurd denounced the idea of wearable devices as ridiculous, prompting Supertech CEO Scorpio Devoro to describe him as a man of limited imagination. Meanwhile, Alliance President Gibson Kincaid has begun lobbying to invest the position of president with executive powers. He has also said that the incumbent should remain in office for 6 years, instead of a maximum of 2 one-year terms. Prime Minister Redmond Mahone has voiced his opposition to the proposal. Juanita Bishop, a leading campaigner against the Thargoid cult, has announced that she is running for federal Congress. Mrs. Bishop's vocal condemnation of Thargoid worship has gained her a strong following in many federal systems. She is now campaigning to be elected to Congress as an independent candidate. In related news, the Thargoid sect has issued a public request for Thargoid materials. It is understood that the objects will be revered as objects of worship, and will not be used in any xenobiological experiments. Finally, authorities in the Betel system have confirmed that the conflict between Betel Free and the Silver Creative Network has come to an end. Both factions received support from independent combat pilots, to whom generous rewards were promised, but ultimately there could be only one victor. It is hoped that the cessation of hostilities will preface a period of peace. And those are the main stories this week. Alliance President proposes changes. Alliance President Gibson Kincaid has confirmed he will campaign for re-election in October. Addressing the media, President Kincaid also said he wanted to make significant changes to the Alliance Constitution. The role of Alliance President is largely ceremonial. I believe that should change. I have been lobbying to invest the position with executive powers, over and above the Prime Minister and the Assembly. By streamlining our bureaucracy, we can make decisions as efficiently as the other superpowers. I also believe that each presidential incumbent should remain in office for 6 years, instead of a maximum of 2 one-year terms. That will allow time to renegotiate diplomatic relationships and correct past mistakes. Gibson Kincaid was the governor of the Seance system before assuming the presidency in 3303. He has repeatedly claimed that the Alliance is failing to fulfill its true potential. Prime Minister Redmond Mahone responded, "Our constitution has served us well for decades and I see no reason to amend it. Its system of checks and balances exists to prevent any individual from becoming too powerful and destabilizing the Alliance. The other presidential candidates will be announced within the next 2 weeks." Computer designers' rivalry escalates. Maddox Hurd, owner of Herculean Machines, has publicly dismissed the efforts of rival company Supertech. Both companies are currently developing new computer designs. Mr. Hurd referred directly to Supertech's forthcoming product, the Talk, while addressing the media. There's a reason Herculean has never explored the concept of wearable devices. It's a ridiculous idea. I bet $1 million credits that those fragile gizmos will break, or their holograms will start glitching, the moment you turn them on. If you want a reliable piece of tech, you need the Jura drive. Responded. It's regrettable that those with a clear vision of the future are often denigrated by individuals of limited imagination. We offer an elegant and revolutionary approach to personal computing, not just a rubber brick with a screen. I'm sure customers will make the intelligent choice. Prototypes for both the Talk and the Jura Drive will be unveiled at the Rackham Ultratech Expo on Wednesday the 3rd of October. Thargoid Campaign. The Thargoid worshipping sect that reveres an entity known as the Thargoid has issued a request for Thargoid materials. Chancellor Regan Tanner, Speaking on behalf of LHS 2541 Alliance Combine, which is
Gravity warning. Handbrake is on. Handbrake is on. Handbrake is on. Target destroyed. Under attack. Cargo scoop deployed. Handbrake is on. 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 Cargo hold at maximum capacity. System disruption. Target destroyed. Target destroyed. destroyed. Target destroyed. Target destroyed. Target destroyed. Handbrake is on. System disruption. Target destroyed. Target destroyed.